Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and I'm going to be doing a Marincess deck profile. So I really like this deck because it's such a beautiful artwork deck, and it's just a really fun deck that came from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. It makes some really cool combos where you can actually summon out Totally Awesome and get out your awesome Marincess Wonderheart or Bubble Reef, some really amazing Link monsters. So, without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed card sent to the mail, or even getting your requested deck profile every single month that you're a patron. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Marincess Blue Tang. So Marincess Blue Tang is one of the best cards in the entire deck, because when she's normal or special summoned, you get to send a Marincess monster from your deck to the graveyard. And she also has the ability that if this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a Link monster, or the Link summon of a water monster, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you get to add an excavated Marincess card from your deck to your hand, and then shovel the rest back in the deck, which is really good to basically search the top of your deck, because you play a lot of different Marincess cards in your deck. We then play 3 copies of Marincess. This Marincess, basically what she does is if she's normal or special summoned, you get to special summon a Marincess monster from your hand in defense position, which is really good to help you get into your rank 4 plays and get you into your Link plays, which is really cool to get you additional Marincesses on your side of the field. She also has a really neat effect that you can, during your main phase, except the turn she was sent to the graveyard, you can banish her and then target a Marincess spell or trap in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is super helpful for the deck to be able to get you additional plays from the graveyard, getting your Marincess traps back to your hand and stuff like that. We then play 3 copies of Marincess Seahorse. Seahorse is probably my favorite one to see because you can special summon it from your hand to a zone that a Link monster points to, a Marincess Link monster points to, and you can only use her effect once per turn. But she also has a really neat effect that during your main phase, except the turn she was sent to the graveyard, you can banish her from the graveyard to special summon 1 water monster from your hand to a zone Link monster points to. A Marincess Link monster points to, that is. Which is a really neat effect to be able to get you additional monsters on your side of the field to recover plays and extend during the next turn. I really like that effect because it's super helpful for the deck to get additional monsters out of your hand, because it's a good deck. But sometimes you run into problems where you'll have excess monsters in your hand, which doesn't come up that much, but sometimes you will just run into moments where you have extra monsters in your hand. So then we play a single copy of Marincess Mandarin. Mandarin's really good. I play 2 of her because what she does is if you control 2 or more Marincesses while this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can target a Link monster you control and special summon this card to a zone it points to, but banish it when it leaves the field. She makes me think a lot of Perform a Hat Tricker, because you can just immediately special summon her to your side of the field if you have 2 more Marincesses, which is nice, as long as you're have a free zone. Then, for the other cards that we're playing, that's all the Marincesses we're playing. We're playing 3 copies of Swap Frog. Swap Frog helps out a lot because it helps you go into your Link 2 play, or your Link 2 plays, and helps you go into Totally Awesome as well, which is super helpful because you discard a water monster to special summon this from your hand, and then when this card is summoned, you get to send a level 2 Aqua monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is super nice. And also you can return this card to your hand to normal summon a frog monster, which is really good to be able to just get those additional frogs out of your hand. We then play a single copy of Dupe Frog. Dupe Frog is just a target to banish usually for the Ronin Totem, because usually what you're trying to do is you're having Toad or your Swap Frog in your hand. You send Toad or Dupe Frog to the graveyard, and then you put the Swap Frog back, and then you use the Swap Frog effect again to send Ronin Totem to the graveyard, and then you go from there, because you can have 2 frogs on the field. You can make your copy of Totally Awesome really easy. We then play 2 copies of Scriptron. This card is a new card that I threw in the deck. It is a Cyberse card, and it's really neat because you just banish a Cyberse from your graveyard to special summon this card to your side of the field. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard as a Link material for a Cyberse monster, you get to target a banished monster and shuffle it into the deck. So you can recycle monsters, and also gives you an additional Cyberse on your side of the field, which is super nice. Then we play a single copy of Sea Archiver. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, and you normal or special summon a monster to a zone a Link monster points to, then you can special summon this card, but you banish it when it leaves the field, which is really good to be able to get you additional plays on the field. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. The Monster Reborn is really nice, just as a good extender. One copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is another one of those really good extender cards, because you're trying to get into your copy of Battle Ocean as quickly as possible, and Battle Ocean is really important to get to. One copy of Foolish Burial, because Foolish Burial helps you with your script drawn, and also can send your Sea Archiver to the graveyard to give you additional plays. Upstart Goblin, just to thin the deck a little bit to make it a 39 card deck. 2 copies of Marincess Battle Ocean. Battle Ocean is insanely good. Battle Ocean is one of the better field spells for your Cyberse monsters. And what this card does is it has the ability that all Marincess monsters you control gain 200 attack. And also 600 attack for each Marincess monster equipped to them. Which, if you guys don't know, the 2 Marincess extra deck monsters, they function off of equipping stuff. And your copy of Marble Rock also works off of that. So it's really important to get your Battle Ocean as quickly as possible. And it also has the ability that monsters you control that are in the extra monster zone that were link summoned using your Crystal Heart as a material are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. And while you, when you link summon a Marincess monster to your extra monster zone, you can equip 3 Marincess link monsters with different names from your graveyard to that link monster. So essentially makes them go up by an additional 2,000 attack points, which is really, really good. We then play 3 copies of Cynet Mining. Cynet Mining is extremely important for the deck because it lets you send a card from your hand to the graveyard to add a level 4 lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. So essentially searches just about everything in the deck, except for Script Drawn and the Frogs. We then play 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave just stops our opponent from doing all sorts of stuff against us while we're trying to search for a Battle Ocean or using different cards to get to what we need. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps, because we actually play quite a few traps in this deck, and it's really amazing that this is the trap build. Like, you have Co-Talkers that play barely any traps. You have Salamangreat that's like, I play Roar and Rage. And then you have this that plays all the traps. And you don't look at this deck and go, traps. But it does. So we're going to be playing 3 copies of Marincess Wave. Marincess Wave is the best trap card that they have in Archetype, and if you control a Marincess Link monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate that face-up monster's effects until the end phase of the turn, and if you control Link 2 or higher Marincess, all monsters they currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end phase, and if you control a Link 3 or higher, then you can activate this card from your hand, which you're usually going to control one that's a Link 3 or higher. We then play 3 copies of Paleozoic Dinomischus. Dinomischus is really good because it can get you an additional monster on the field because you play so many traps in the deck anyways. You play 9 traps, and also it's Karma Cut because all you have to do is discard a card and then banish a card on the field. And then 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Judgment is really good in this deck because it just says no to anything, and it's always live, because you just flip this and say no to a summon, a card effect, anything that you need to say no to. This card says, nope, none of that, which is really cool. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Wonderheart. Wonderheart's really good because she is really the one that you're going to want to go for the majority of the time, because once per battle, during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can quick effect special summon one of your Marincess monsters that are equipped to this card. And also, this card cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from that battle, which is really good just to be able to get you an additional monster on your side of the field to help you OTK. And then the equipped monster special summon by this card effect is destroyed during the end phase, which is really cool. Or equip the special summon monster back to this card during the end phase, or the end of battle phase, which is really cool. And if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon one Link 3 or lower Marincess monster from your graveyard. So it additionally replaces itself. It gives you an additional monster on your side of the field. It does a lot of damage, and it's just an awesome card. We then play 1 copy of Bubble Reef. Bubble Reef to me is just a one-of. What she does is once per turn during your standby phase, you can banish 1 water monster from your graveyard or face up from your field to draw a card. And each time a monster is banished face up, this card gains 600 attack for each until the end of the turn. And then you can send 1 water monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon one of your banished Marincess monsters. So I go in her a lot. She's really good. Don't get me wrong, but I usually like to go for Wonderheart just to give me that additional monster on my side of the field. But this Bubble Reef can get really big. So it's kind of like, it depends on what situation you feel like you can go for. Either or is really good. We then play 2 copies of Marble Rock. Marble Rock is really good for climbing into your copy of your Great Bubble Reef or Wonderheart. Depends on which one you need to go for. She lets you target a Marincess in your graveyard and add it back to your hand when she's link summoned. And she also has the ability that when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send a Marincess monster monster from your hand or to your graveyard. And for that battle, this card cannot be destroyed this battle, monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. And also, so you take no damage, which is really good. It basically negates the attack, essentially. 2 copies of Coral Anemone. Coral Anemone lets you revive a water monster from your graveyard with 1500 or less attack, which is really good. And then she also has the ability to, if she's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a Marincess card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is really good as well. 1 copy of Crystal Heart. You usually just use this card to give the Battle Ocean effect to give you the additional protection. 2 copies of Blue Slug. Blue Slug is the Link 1 that you're usually going to go into. If she's Link summoned, you get to target 1 Marincess monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So essentially, whatever you use to Link summon her, you get it right back, which is really good. 1 copy of Sea Angel. Sea Angel searches a Marincess spell from your deck to your hand, which is always going to be your copy of your Battle Ocean. That's the only card that you actually play that she can search. So she's basically a Link 1 Battle Ocean. We then play for the other Link monsters. We're going to be playing a single copy of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. This could be any Link 4 that you want it to be. I like Avermax because it OTKs a little bit easier. And plus, with the other traps, it can back Avermax up, where he's usually not going to get destroyed by battle, but it's the card effects sometimes that can get him. So I really like this effect because he has the effect of when this card is Link summoned to your side of the field, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and also this card cannot be targeted by monster attacks. Or also their monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one, which is really, really good. And also, he's usually not going to get like beaten over by a monster effect, because he gains attack too. 1 copy of Unicorn. Unicorn is really good in here because it spins stuff, and a single copy of Splash Magician. I will mention you guys too, I thought about throwing in an Access Code Talker over the Avermax and a copy of Transcode Talker over the Unicorn. So it depends on which way you want to go. That is an option if you want to play Transcode Talker and Access Code Talker over these two as well. Then you play a single copy of Abyss Dweller because it boosts all your monsters up by 500, and it's really easy to go into this card because you just normal summon out a copy of your a pink-haired one. I forget her name off the top of my head. You normal summon her, and then she lets you special summon out your copy of Blue Tang out of your hand, and then you can immediately go for a Abyss Dweller, which is really cool. And then we play a single copy of Totally Awesome, because Totally Awesome is totally awesome. It's really easy to summon because you can just instantly make it really, really easy with your Toad engine, and it's really easy to summon in this deck, and it gives you an additional negate. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely hit that bell down there so you can become part of the notification squad. And tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. It's a really fun deck. I really am enjoying playing around with this deck. And I will mention you guys, this deck will probably become a lot cheaper because I know Coral Anemone is like $15 right now, but it's probably going to get a lot cheaper once the reprints come through with the Megatins. I figured I would do an update of this because of that, because I feel like when the Megatins come out, this deck is going to be ridiculously budget. So anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.